Hello everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. We are discussing the decks I plan to use for the season of autumn and around Halloween. These are 5 tarot decks, and I'm going to do a couple of Oracle honorable mentions before we get into the 5 tarot decks. So, I also have recorded in like 2022 2 videos. There were 11 tarot decks that I had, like a bigger list, and that list is still relevant today. I still have those decks, and I did the same for 11 Oracle decks, 2 videos. I will link those in the description box down below so you can check them out. But I wanted to bring forth some new decks that aren't on those original videos, and decks I actually do have strong intentions to connect with in the coming months ahead. So let's get into said decks. Hello, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. We are discussing the tarot decks that I plan to use for the season of autumn, and particularly around Halloween to that Thanksgiving period. That's what decks I'm feeling like sharing with you all today. And I did record 2 videos in 2022. It was like my 11 tarot decks that I use in the season of fall or autumn, and the same for Oracle decks, 11 decks. I had recommendations. Those video links will be in the description box because I still have those decks. I still use them, but I wanted to use these decks I'm talking with you today about because I just feel like there's an opportunity to get to know them better. It could be like the color combinations that drew me in, or it could be the theme. And yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing with you these decks that you may not expect as recommendations for autumny type of decks, right? So we're going to start off quickly with Oracle and then dive into 5 tarot decks that I plan to use in the season of autumn. So let's just talk real fast about Oracle decks that I plan to pull out and connect with a bit more, see if I can build a connection this season with these 2 decks. The first one is the Beloved Dead. It's an oracle for divining ancestral wisdom. Okay, so I've got this deck, and ancestral work is something that many people begin to do during the months of October and November. And I've used this deck, but not very much since getting it. I don't know exactly, I forgot when I purchased it, but I would like to get to know it better. I love the colors, the little ribbon. This is the mass market edition of this deck. It has a little guidebook. I will link in the description box the flip through. If I have a flip through of any of the decks I mentioned, it'll be a link in the description box. So yeah, let's take a look. I'm planning on connecting or reconnecting with my ancestral veneration practices this coming season of autumn, and I'm curious to see how this deck could aid in that work, right? So I am looking forward to getting to know it better. Have you used this deck? Do you have it in your collection? Let me go from the back. I've I've used it a few times in readings. It's not that I haven't, but look, it has some of these spare cards here. But it's very, like, it's an archetypal deck. So sometimes readings really benefit from these types of cards and sometimes they don't. But I'm going to be looking at this book and maybe even doing like a mini study as a part of either the Facebook group or my Poised to Leap group. Just a little, like, for those of us who have this deck. Yeah. So yeah. Invisible, I like that one. Invisible. So yeah, this is the Beloved. It was the Beloved Dead Oracle. And I'm looking forward to working with it, seeing if there's any spreads in here, studying the guidebook, and just connecting with it. Because if I can't connect with it, then maybe it would be a deck that would be wonderful to gift to someone who I think would really connect with it, right? So yeah, that is the Beloved Dead Oracle. Okay, so the next Oracle deck, and then we're going to get right into the tarot decks. This is a classic. Okay, it is, but it's with good reason. And I've discussed this deck on numerous occasions over the years of this channel, and you know, I love it. And I'm going to be honest, I don't use this deck year round. I typically just use it during the time of, like, now maybe mid to late September into early December is when I like to use this deck. It's a Stacey DeMarco deck. I think it's a Blue Angel, right? Yes, it's Blue Angel. Here's the guidebook. And it's a really good deck. Even though it's themed, it's really good. I really like this deck. And so I'm excited about keeping it out where I can see it and work with it and incorporate it into readings, client readings, readings for myself. Look at this. Winter. The lamp, remembrance. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Skull of light, illumination. Here's like different skulls. Ancestors. The love and legacy of our DNA. Oh my goodness. It's a really good deck. It definitely could be used year round. I just me. I don't pull it out but for this time of year. The Witch, the earthly weaver of the worlds. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Trick or treat, mischief and play. Dawn, the light after the darkness. So you can see why I definitely want to work with this deck, right? We have Skull of Flowers, creating through the ashes. Skull of Darkness, blind spots. So I'll stop there, but you get the point. I think I have a flip through of this deck. If I do, the link of the full flip through will be in the description box down below. Yep, that is the classic Halloween oracle. Okay, so next up, tarot. The first one may surprise you or may not, but I'll explain why I chose this one. So the first one is the Echoes Through Time Tarot. Now, all of the decks I'm going to mention today are ones that you could use throughout the year. You don't have to use it seasonally. Some of us like to use our decks seasonally. Some of us don't. Some of us go back and forth. One year we're doing the seasonal thing. The next year we're not. I'm in a season of doing seasons for connecting with my decks and seeing if I can deepen connections. And if not, then making decisions to move some decks along, right? So that's where I'm at. But I love the Echoes Through Time aesthetic, like the whole thing, right? Look at this. Here's the inside of the box. I'm getting autumny vibes. And look at that gilding. So rich. So pentacle autumnish vibes. Backs. Yeah. Speaking of pentacles, we have here the Queen of Pentacles. I want to connect with this deck during this season, because I got it earlier this year. I think it was earlier this year. And I haven't used it much. I've used it in some client readings, but again, I put it on the shelf and just got to work with my tried and true decks, right? And, oh, this one's in reverse. This one's Seven of Cups. And I didn't get a chance to connect with it. So first and foremost, this would be a great deck to get me in the mood of autumn. Even though I'm in the tropics, I still want to, feel that shift that happens with the seasons changing. Here's the Ace of Pentacles. And this deck is a whole autumny vibe to me. Although I could see it for other seasons. There's the Six of Wands. Seven of Pentacles. The Hermit. Ten of Pentacles. So, I will be definitely working with this deck and keeping it out. Probably pulling my Super Lenoris Tarot, out of my working shelf. I'm going to do a quick video to show you all now where I keep my working decks, and it just makes my life so easy, where I store my decks off my reading table so I can just grab the ones I feel like I need to use. So I'm going to do a separate little video, I think, to show you what that's about. And I'm sure many of you already do it, but for me, I was like, why didn't I do this before? Like storing the decks in its own little designated little storage area. Yeah, sorry, sidebar, I know, I digress. But isn't this just a special deck? Oh, I don't know. It's calling me, so this one may be out on the table a lot. And that is the Echoes Through Time Tarot. Alright, so the next deck I want to talk to you about is one I had in my collection for a long time. It is the Hoodoo Tarot. And many of you have come to my channel because I was doing a tarot study surrounding this deck some years ago, and many of you participated when we had it going in the Facebook group, and it was quite a special time when we did those tarot studies, right? For those who didn't. And I connected with this deck in a way where I don't normally use it for client readings. This is a deck I use for readings for myself, particularly as it relates to having messages downloaded from my ancestors. Here is the card backs. So yes, the palette is giving autumn vibes. But more importantly, because I am feeling called to, work with my ancestors closely again. I ebb and flow with it. Sometimes I work closely with them, and then sometimes I pull back and I'm on my own, and now I'm feeling called to work with them again. Like, I think many of us can relate to that. And so this deck is one I want to get into again. Not that I've fallen completely out, but I hadn't been using it regularly because I hadn't been doing a lot of ancestral work. But I feel like that's going to change in the coming season of autumn for me. This is Daughter of Sticks. This is Railroad Bill, traditionally the Chariot. Ten of Coins. Ancestors. So definitely check out the videos that I recorded where I had 11 decks. The tarot decks I'm talking to you all in this video are not included in that one, so you wouldn't be watching like repeats. Two of Coins. John Horse. Five of Knives, so that would be Five of Swords. Seven of Baskets. Dr. Grant, Hermit. Mother of Sticks. Queen of Wands. The Free Man, traditionally the Fool. I will link the playlist of the videos I did surrounding the tarot study. So many years ago. I think it marks when I first got here. I've been living here in the Caribbean since January 2021. I'm recording this September 14th, 2025. And that's how long I've been living abroad. Periodically going back to the States. Okay, so that is the Hoodoo Tarot. All right, so now we are going to look at my next one. This is the Black Tarot, and I think this plum and look, this burnt orange is giving me that late summer entering into early autumn, as it, that color palette. Anyways, I think just because of the color palette, I'm drawn to this deck to work with it during autumn. Okay, I'll just be frank. There's the guidebook. I have a video for this deck flip through, and I also got the bonus journal. And this deck is one that I probably will be doing a lot of readings with it for myself. Look at the box. There's a tuck box. Yeah. Again, giving that autumn look. So high end for mass market. I'm always so impressed by this deck. Every time I hold it in my hand, I'm so impressed. And it reads well. I just don't always grab for it. I I want to change that. See if I can deepen the connection with it. Look how thick it, look at it. Wow. Okay, let's go through the cards. Here's Strength. Justice. Five of Wands. Two of Knives. Ace of Coins. Wheel of Fortune. Daughter of Baskets. Mother of Baskets. Nine of Baskets. Eight of Baskets. So I know some people this wouldn't work for them because, you know, it's not necessarily a beginner's deck. Although I always say some people are drawn to decks that are not typical beginner's decks. That, you know, to each their own. But I could see like some people be like, oh, you know, they might be thrown, but it's really a lovely reader, and I'm looking forward to reconnecting with it this season. So you see what I'm saying about the color palette, and I really like it. I'm looking forward to diving in with it and seeing if it does work well in some client readings. We'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. It's gorgeous though. Here's the Hermit. You know I'm going to be curious to know what decks you plan to work with for the season of autumn. So please share in the comment section. There's the Star. There's the Sun. So yeah, that is Black Tarot. And I will be working with this one this coming autumn. All right, let's get into it. So we're getting into the next one, the Mystic Palette Tarot. This is by Chero Marchetti. And again, it's one of those situations where it is the color palette. I'll be honest. But again, a deck that I got in like a year or two ago, and I haven't really used it, and I want to begin to use it. And it feels like, even though this is the King of Water or King of Cups, it's still giving autumny vibes, right? The color palette, it's that. It's the palette here, and that it does it for me. Look at the Hermit. Oh my goodness. This is what? Page of Fire, Page of, yeah. Page of Fire, Page of Wands. Tower. And Queen. Oh. Queen of Earth. Queen of Pentacles. So I have a deck flip through, I'm sure for this one. I'm pretty sure. I don't know, but nevertheless, I'm planning on diving into it this season. And this will be enough. I've got enough to keep me busy. Am I going to be using them all the time? Probably not. But I'm going to be intentional about working with them, especially now that I mention it to you all. It's like you all are my accountability coach. I do want to work with them. Look at that. This 10 of Cups. It's gorgeous. So yeah, that is the Mystic Palette Tarot. Okay, so here's the last one. This is the Magical Hours Tarot. Yes, this one. Now, this is one of those ones you could use, I could see, in a multiple season, like, yeah, deck. It's not just exclusive to autumn, but I'll show you some of the cards as to why I'm like, oh, this would be like such a good one to get to know a bit better this season. And I left this one behind when I went to the US. I was in the US for 2 months, and I had got this deck like shortly before I went away, so I didn't get a chance to really bond with it. I did use it though steadily in client readings. So there's that. Here's the Wheel of Fortune. Look at the card backs. This is an interesting 5 of Pentacles. Oh, the Pentacles are here. There's 3 of Pentacles. You see, like, it could totally be a spring deck or even a winter deck, but I'm getting autumn here. This is the Star. Here's the Hanged Man. Very whimsical. The Fool. 10 of Pentacles. I mean, the card backs, just doesn't it give you autumn vibes? Just the card backs alone. Here's 7 of Pentacles. I love, 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 love this Devil. Even the 6 of Cups is early autumn. Knight of Wands. And the Sun. One more. 6 of Pentacles. I do have a flip through of this one, I'm sure. So I'll link it in the description box down below. So that way you can check it out if you haven't had a chance, or you just want my perspective, my initial impressions of this deck. I've had it for a while now, since that video with the deck flip through, and I have to say, this is probably the one I am very much most looking forward to playing around with this coming season. All right, friends, that's it. Those are the decks that I am looking forward to getting into this coming season. What are your decks that you plan to work with, or that you religiously work with year over year, season of autumn over season of autumn? Which one do you go to, or which one are you planning to incorporate this year? Definitely share in the comment section, because we all love to hear about folks' deck recommendations or selections. And yeah, do me a favor on your way out. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Oh my goodness, I am already like, ooh, maybe I'm going to leave out one of these tarot decks each week. And If I'm called to work with it an extra week, fine, go with the flow. But just be very intentional, very intentional. All right, friends, take good care of yourselves. I'll see you around in the next one. Bye for now.